Good morning. Just going to add my phone number in here. Here we go. 774 644. Sorry, I'm just adding my phone number. If anybody needs it, good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. It is beautiful here. I would love to know where you're tuning in from. I am in Massachusetts. That's where I live. Good morning. My name is Tina. And I'm having a terrible hair day. I apologize. Good morning. My name is Tina, and I come on to TikTok here to share my journey about becoming. I was diagnosed last year as a severe type 2 diabetic, and in 8 months I was able to reverse my diabetes naturally. That's basically the point behind it, right? So what I do is I share what I've learned over this past year, what I've done over this past year in order to regain my health back, to go from a diabetic to a non-diabetic. And you don't have to be a diabetic to talk about this. You could be just somebody who is a little overweight, could have some symptoms, could have have a worry about it, pre-diabetes. Anyways, because the reason why I like to talk about it is so many of us have symptoms of it, and we may ignore the symptoms or make an excuse for the symptoms, which is very, very, very much what I did for a long time. I made excuses for what my symptoms were and said, just getting older, whatever my excuse were. Sorry, I'm kind of like uncentered. Let's see if I can move this around. There we go. Okay, so, but today I want to talk about non-negotiables, because I think everybody I'm the person who likes routine. I'm not saying everybody does, but if you like routine, if you like adding things into your life that make your life better, not saying it's going to be easier, but it'll be better. This is what I want to talk about. I want to start some things that you can do for yourself, non-negotiables. Good morning, Ruben. How are you? Non-negotiables. This is what I had to do this. I had to start this last year. Non-negotiables, things I had to do, 4 steps that I took to better my health. Also, there's other things that we should do, right? Sunlight in your eyes, a good amount of sleep, exercise, water, all of those seems like it's a lot, right? But once you go from not feeling healthy to feeling healthy, you're not going to want to go back, or at least you shouldn't want to go back. I definitely don't want to go back, right? I'm very happy where I am in my skin. I do have about another 20 pounds to lose, and I think I'll be at a healthy weight for my height, for my height and my age. Obviously, if I lose more weight, that's fine, but I want to be at that healthy, normal range where you're supposed to be. So, but like this weekend, for instance, I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I hope everybody who had a fantastic Father's Day. If there's anybody that did anything fun for Father's Day, I would love to know. I hope everybody had a great day. It was such a nice weekend here in Massachusetts, so we did a lot of great things. But so, for instance, this weekend we went to the beach, and I know it sounds silly, but last year me wouldn't have gone. Okay, I would have said, no, I don't want to go to the beach. No, thank you. I'll stay home and clean. I'll stay home. And actually, I did 2 things that I normally wouldn't do. And I'm going to tell you about both of them. I normally would say, I don't want to go to the beach. No, thank you. Because I didn't want to be in my bathing suit. I didn't want to be, sitting at a beach with people. I would have all these reasons why I didn't want to go. Oh, I have to do laundry. Oh, I have to do the lawn. Whatever it is, I would find a reason not to go. This year, I went. Also, on Saturday, my son and his fiance went in Providence. It's called Federal Hill, and it's this beautiful place with Italian food, and it was just such a great spot to go to. If you've ever, I don't know if anybody's, from around here, if you've ever gone, it was so much fun. We walked around, we went to all these shops, we went and had something to eat. Now, last year me wouldn't have gone, because it would have hurt to walk around. I would have been uncomfortable because I was hot. I actually wasn't hot, but because it was breezy, but I would have thought I would have been hot. I had IBS, so I wouldn't have been able to go, because I would have been like, well, I'm going to get an upset stomach. There were so many reasons I wouldn't have gone. This year, I said, can I go? They didn't even ask me. I invited myself, because they probably are used to me saying I don't want to go. And 100%, the main reason would have been my IBS that I used to have, the neuropathy in my feet, because my feet would have hurt. the extra weight that I was carrying around, so I would have been uncomfortable to go. It could have been a number of reasons, but mainly just my IBS and just being uncomfortable and not feeling. I couldn't walk. I could walk, but it was a workout and I didn't like it and I like being hot and all that good stuff, and hence how I got sick to start with, right? So this is how I got sick to start with. So getting that under control, being able to say, yeah, I want to go. I want to go. And I went and we walked around and we went out to lunch and I felt so great. We went to this beautiful Italian restaurant out. You sit outside. It had this gorgeous fountain. It was really nice. I wish I saved a picture. I would have showed you guys, but it was this beautiful fountain that we went to. We sat outside. I had a salad and I had pizza and I felt great about it. I felt great about it. I didn't feel like I shouldn't be here. I'm hot. I want to sit inside. I didn't care. I felt so good. So, non-negotiables. This is why I talk about it. Last year, when I got diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, my doctor told me my only option was medication. My only option was metformin in a shot. That was the only thing that was going to help me. That would have managed it a little bit. It would have brought it down a little bit. Oh, Enzo, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here. Um, what about loving and respectful? Well, I'm happy I'm not sure what you mean by that. But I don't know if we were just talking about how much fun I had this weekend doing something that I normally wouldn't have done, right? Two things that I did this weekend that I normally wouldn't have done because last year I was very unhealthy. I was 50 pounds heavier. I was 50 pounds heavier. I was unhealthy. I had type 2 diabetes. I had a lot of symptoms. I had IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. Not something I like to talk about on here, but it's very, very common, unfortunately, and it's very, very life-changing, right? So the big symptoms I had was I had IBS, I had neuropathy, which is the burning in your hands and your feet, and to be walking around Federal Hill Saturday would have been a nightmare, right? Just walk around with my feet hurting. Hi, Ryan, how are you? So grateful that I don't have that. I had brain fog, skin issues, I had eczema, so that would have been itching in the heat, like so much things that I don't have any longer. So this is why I'm on here to share this with you. But when my doctor told me that I had I had type 2 diabetes and that my only option was medication, I had to do some soul searching and decide, what do I want to do, right? I came on here, I connected with a fantastic diabetic educator who really, really put me on the right track. I'm so sorry about that, Enzo. I'm sorry that happened to you. Who really put me on the right track to, this is what you need to do. You need to, you have to do some things to gain your health back. And so the things that I had to do, I did 4 steps and I'll go through those with you. But the main thing is in my mind. I had to decide that this is what I wanted to do. I had to decide that I wanted to get healthy. I had to decide that I didn't want to take medication for type 2. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being with medication, because I think medication is very, very important for a lot of things, but for type 2 diabetes, it's not, unfortunately, because I ate my way to diabetes and I was able to eat my way out. So, and I'm not saying you have to have that, but unfortunately, 93% of us have symptoms, right? I'm going to show you this picture because I think visuals are different for me, right? So I'm going to blow this up a little bit so you can see it. Here it is. So 93% of us are insulin resistant, right? So look at all the colored in people. Those are all the people who have it. And those uncolored people, like the ones that are the drawings, do not. And there's a lot more of us with insulin resistance than there are without. And I didn't know the first thing about it. When I went to my doctor's office for my diagnosis, she didn't talk about it. We didn't talk about insulin resistance. We didn't talk about metabolic health. We didn't talk about any of those things. The only thing we did talk about, she did say eat 6 small meals to boost your metabolism. And then she said eat less, move more. That was it. That was my nutritional education. And again, I love my doctor, possibly because she's a doctor of medicine. The nutrition part wasn't a big deal to her. She felt like she could give me medication to fix it. And I now know, after a year, it's taken me some time. I've done a lot of reading and learning and following and science calls and in school to be a nutritionist. I had to learn that the medication Although it could have helped me a little bit, it would have brought my probably helped me control my sugars a little bit, but it would have masked my problem. It wouldn't have gotten to the root of my problem, which is, to me, I call it the eye of the storm, which is the insulin resistance, which was my problem with what I was eating, when I was eating, and how I was eating. So I come on here to share that, what I did wrong and what I'm doing right, and my body is thanking me for it because I was able to go Saturday and walk around Federal Hill with my children with no problem, and I felt fantastic. And then yesterday I went to the beach. Sounds like little things to some people, like that's not a big deal, but it was for me. Last year, no, never would have happened. I would have stayed home and I would have missed both of those memories, right? I didn't miss them. I was part of it. I was there. I felt great. It was so fun. It felt fun to go out and do things and not be like, oh, I'll just stay home. I'll see you guys when you get home. Okay. I do have a pool at home. I could have just stayed at home and got in the pool, but I didn't. I went to the beach. I didn't wear a big t-shirt. I mean, I only have like a one piece, but still, I was in a bathing suit. I was at the beach with my kids. I felt fantastic. I walked around Rhode Island, like Federal Hill with my kids, and I felt great. So those are the big things. So I'm here to share with you because if you were me last year, don't fret. We can work through this. I can tell you what I've done, and maybe it will work for you. And if you want to be able to do those things, you have to do a couple things. You have to be consistent. You have to be patient. You have to be consistent because you don't have to be perfect, though. You know, dieting isn't perfect. Exercise isn't perfect. Changing your life isn't perfect. It's going to take time. You need to be consistent. You need to be patient. Be patient with yourself because there may be a time when you don't feel like going to the gym, or if you go to the gym or you work out and you don't give it your all, like you're just there doing it. Be patient, but then celebrate the small wins. The small win for you is you went to the gym, you didn't give it your all. You might have just did the treadmill and a couple of machines, but you went to the gym. So you celebrate the small win is that you went instead of not going, and you have to give yourself that grace. Your brain is listening. Your body is listening. If you're constantly negative with yourself, like, this is never going to happen, I'm never going to lose weight, I'm never going to feel good, your brain starts to believe that. So if you can say, and I'm not saying, say something crazy to yourself, but, like, hey, listen, we went to the gym, we feel great. That's awesome. My day can go. My Monday's ready to rock and roll because I feel great. Feel good about yourself. Like, I'm proud of you for getting up. Or, talk to yourself. I do all day long. Say, I'm proud of you for getting up. Or, I'm proud of you for reading. Or whatever it is. Just, you can't be negative. Unfortunately, negativity doesn't help. It doesn't help, especially for yourself. If you look at yourself and say, oh, you look gross, or I don't want to go because I don't feel good, you have to talk better about yourself. That's one thing I had to learn. So, non-negotiables. And the reason why I want to talk about them is because some people, like myself, I had to have like a plan. And I'm not saying that some people will fly by their seat and they don't need a plan. I needed a plan. I needed a plan of what I was going to do when I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. What was my plan? What was my plan to go from there to here, right? And yes, it took me 8 months. No, no, Eric. I talk to myself. Well, plus I work at home, and so all my kids work out of the house. I work from home, so it's me and the dog. I can say I'm talking to the dog, but it's definitely to myself. So maybe that's why I don't mind doing coming on here because I'm basically talking to myself. I feel like I'm looking at myself talking. So that could be the ultimate crazy, right? Just sitting here looking at yourself, talking to yourself. But yeah, I do all day long, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. But then I'm like, yeah, you're talking to yourself. So silly. So so I had to tell myself, listen, and I probably said it out loud, Eric. I had to tell myself, listen, you need to do something. You can't stay sick. You can't let it get worse. Because if you don't deal with that eye of the storm, the insulin resistance, it can get so much worse. Yes, I had symptoms. I had IBS, neuropathy. I had those black floaty things in my eyes. I had skin tags. I had belly fat. I had eczema. I had bad knees. My knees would hurt from inflammation. I had a lot of things that I excused of getting older, but those were minor compared to what road I was on. I was on my way to dementia, which is type 3 diabetes, which you forget everything, dementia and Alzheimer's. I was on my way to heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, got fatty liver. My liver eventually wouldn't have been able to come back. Our liver will definitely heal, but I'm sure there's a point where it can't, right? There wouldn't be liver transplant lists if there wasn't, right? So there's got to be a point where our liver can't be fixed any longer. So I'm grateful for that. So I was on that road. If I stayed the way I was, Brenda, good morning. If I stayed the way I was, eating the way I was, these non-negotiables, if I didn't have these things in my system, I was going for that. I was going for heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, and truth be told, when I went to my doctor's my last appointment was in October, so I should be going pretty soon. When is my next one? Anyways, it doesn't matter. No, I went October, and then I went again. Anyways, but my kidneys were still needed a little bit more work. Not a lot, but my kidneys still needed a little bit more because I had beat them up so much. So like we have the chart, it's red or green, like it was still red, but it was just right next to the green. So I'm convinced when I go back and get my blood work again, I can look and see when it is. I will be green, but that was the only thing that I have to say was a little bit. Everything else is in the green, which made me so happy because when I went back in June of last year, everything was red. Everything was bad. And that's scary because like I said, I didn't feel sick. I had symptoms, but I thought they were just old lady symptoms. And that's how I said them. That's just an old lady symptom. The skin tags, old lady, like the eczema, old lady. Like I had all of these things and the black floaty things in my eyes. And so now, a year later, when I don't have them, in my heart, I feel like I need to share that is an option. If you are a person that had these symptoms, had these problems, and so I'm going to blow up this little chart up here for you because I don't know what it looks like on the other end, if you can even see it, but I want to go through some symptoms because maybe there's something that you have or somebody that you know has or somebody that you love is going through or you notice it. Not that I want you to say, listen, you have diabetes, but you could say, I saw this crazy lady on TikTok today and she was talking. Yeah, I'm going to move it over so you can see it. Is that still blurry? Oh, it is blurry. Oh, that stinks. Okay, so I'm going to close it and I'll read them to you. You know what? And it looked good in my picture. Is it still blurry? Yeah. I think you're right. It is blurry. Okay, so I wonder if I can blow them up so you could see. Okay, so the main ones are it talks about energy and brain and mood. Oh, okay, perfect. So there we go. So these are insulin symptoms. Okay, and I will definitely point out the ones that I had that I think a lot of us have or could sound familiar to you, and I can give you anything. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much, Brenda. And Brenda, I can send any of these things to you, but they're just symptoms of insulin resistance, ones that I went to. So chronic fatigue, 100% always tired, brain fog, which is you have too much insulin in your brain, you get brain fog, you forget what you're doing, poor focus, memory issues. So all of this when it comes to the brain, 100%, if you think about it, like I told you, type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's and dementia, and actually ADHD is tied in there. All of these things right here for your poor brain, right? So memory loss, energy crashes, afternoon, so anxiety, irritability, depression, all of that, insulin resistance in your poor brain, right? So obviously that you want to keep that brain moving, right? So you can deal with that. And the second thing is weight and appetite, belly fat. Your body will store belly fat. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit my microphone. Well, if you're a fat storer, not a fat burner, it's going to go in your belly, right? So that's the kind of a sign. If you know somebody with a little bit more belly weight, maybe they're having these problems, your body will store it because you've eaten too much. And we've been through that and I can go through that. But difficulty losing weight retain, constant hunger, sugar cravings, carbs. I know if you guys can't read these, but this is something that is very common. Insulin resistance, if you have these symptoms. Okay, so then for the blood, I'm going to do a little bit bigger, right? So there's high blood sugar, pre-diabetes, PCOS. I had PCOS so bad I ended up having a hysterectomy. Neither my doctor nor my gynecologist talked about possibly it's insulin resistance. It went right to having a hysterectomy, which is, I had my 3 boys. It didn't affect me, but what if that's not the case? What if there's somebody who hasn't had a chance to have kids? Infertility. See the one right down there? Irregular periods is what I had. My PCOS, irregular periods, had a hysterectomy, infertility. So if you know somebody having a hard time getting pregnant, this could be something they should look into. Do their research, right? So this is the important thing is do your research. Take what I've said and do your research, please. Low testosterone, erectile dysfunction for men. Those are big things that guys don't want to talk about it. you're definitely probably not going to know about it, but if you know somebody that's having these problems, have them do some research. Tell them to do some research on insulin resistance. And it sounds so silly, but it's crazy what when you dig into it, just how bad that little cube of sugar can affect your body. Okay, here we go. So so this is for your heart. High triglycerides, low HDL. Now you don't know those things until you go to the doctors and you get the results. You'll know these things, but let me just tell you, if you have some of the symptoms that we've talked about, this is going on in your heart. So high triglycerides, HDL is in high blood pressure, fatty liver, like I told you, chronic inflammation. Your joints hurt, your knees hurt, anything hurts, your hands hurt. We have a wonderful woman who she does sign language for a living, and she couldn't do sign language because her hands hurt so bad from inflammation. So could you imagine that? Like, you can't work because you have insulin resistance, because maybe you didn't even know that's what was going on. Like, to me, when she was able to reverse that and get her job back, I think that was amazing. That was such a nice thing to hear. And migraines, I had headaches and migraines so bad I thought I had something wrong. Like, I thought I had a tumor in my brain, and I actually had the test done, and they said, no, nope, no, your brain is clear. So then thought I was really going crazy. Like, why do I have these headaches? What's going on? And again, it was insulin resistance, which was never discussed in my doctor's office. Okay, the last thing I'm going to go through, and the reason why I picked this up, because I think non-negotiables, this is something I want you guys to work on for your non-negotiable, right? Poor sleep, waking up at night, sleep apnea, which is a terrible one, and that sleep apnea affects so many people. Dry skin patches, skin tags, acne, hair thinning. Your hair will thin because your follicles are so compact with the insulin in your body that your hair will thin out. Mine was thinning out. Again, an old lady symptom, but now that I've gotten that under control, my hair is coming back. Hence why I have all these little flyaways. Frequent urination and increased thirst. Okay, so I can definitely share that list with anybody if you need it. But, okay, so the reason why I wanted to show you those things, there's some non-negotiables that will help get those things under control. I do have my 4 steps that I did, and I'm going to share those with you. But also, outside of those 4 steps are some things that are super important. And I'm not saying you have to do all of these, because let's just share the most important ones. And I do know, when I say this, you're going to tell me I'm crazy, but you need to try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. I do understand when it comes to having little ones and your job and things to do, it may sound hard, right? And it is hard, especially when you're not used to that. Some people say, oh, I just can't fall asleep, or, whatever. But you have to, right? You have to figure it out. You have to, I don't know, find a book that's so boring and put you to sleep. Just definitely turn off the TV. Definitely turn off your phone if you can, or move your phone. Don't get on your phone. Once you get on that phone, that dopamine of that phone, you'll be up. So you have to try to get 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Your body needs that time to regenerate your cells, to eat the food that you have in your stomach, to just relax. Your muscles need time. If you don't get that much sleep, and I know some people say, oh, I live great on 4 hours of sleep. Good, I'm proud of you, but I cannot. And I did for many years. That's the problem. I did for many years only get a couple hours of sleep, 2, 3 hours, 4 hours. I had too much to do. I worked an overnight job. So for years I did that. And it was obviously not helping my body. My brain was a mess. My body was a mess. My body didn't have any sort of structure as to healing my cells, digesting what I was eating, resetting for the next day. So, first thing for your non-negotiable is please, please, please try to figure a way to get to bed early. And again, I know when you have little kids or older kids, I understand it's hard, but in the long run, you're going to live longer, right? We're working on longevity. This is what we want to work on. We want longevity. We want to last longer. We want to be around for our kids. We don't want to be exhausted. We don't want to suffer from that big sheet of all these side effects, because you want to live your life. Because I got rid of that big sheet of side effects, this weekend was a huge, huge win for me. I went to the beach and I went off to Federal Hill with my kids, and I felt great about it. So I want you to feel that way. I want you to feel like, okay, listen, I can do this. I only have to make a couple changes. So then one was read out loud, manifest. So I talk to myself, so I read books. I read a ton of books. It depends on what I'm reading, but I like to just be positive and be like, okay, this is a great day. I can't believe I can wear these shorts again. I feel really good. Like, try to give yourself some positivity. A lot of people don't. A lot of people talk negative about yourself. And that is unfortunately the society around us. We're comparing ourselves to people online. You can't do that. You can't compare yourself. Unfortunately, I know my kids have done it. I've done it. You can't. And what you see online is never the truth, right? Like, well, it could be, but it's hardly ever the truth. Anybody that has this fantastic, this life might not be true. So just try to live your own life. Don't compare yourself because you are your only self, right? So you want to enjoy the body you're in, enjoy what you were given. God gave it to you for a reason. Take advantage of it. That's what I feel. Anyway, so that's it. So non-negotiable, please try to get enough sleep. This is summertime. It's hot outside and we're doing stuff outside. You need to hydrate. And I know it sounds crazy and people think it's, oh, I drink my water, but it is important. And I have to take the next step up because I go to the gym and because I like to walk outside and because I do a lot of work outside. I need, and I thought I was doing enough with my regular water, but I wasn't. So I have to have electrolytes. I have one little packet of electrolytes to my water once a day, and I don't get those cramps. I was getting cramps in my calves, and I didn't know if it was dehydrated, if it was, I know I was eating the right things, but since I had added that one pack of electrolytes, and it could be because I'm older, I'm 54 years old, I had to add electrolytes back into my diet. So that's, well, into my drinking. So you have to hydrate. Please, please, please. Dehydration causes so many problems, and you just don't want that if you could try to. So let's just go with those two today. Let's start with get enough sleep and hydrate yourself. If you have to add an electrolyte, please do. I do. I add electrolyte and Stronghold. I have one of those a day because the Stronghold helps me after I go to the gym. But I add those once a day, and it's just such a game changer. I had it yesterday at the beach, and it was fantastic. Okay, so I do want to talk about my 4 steps that I've done to share it with you just in case it's something you want to do. They're very simple lifestyle changes that I had to do, and I really want to talk about them because I really think it makes a difference, okay? So I had all those symptoms. That sheet, it's almost like that's like almost my sheet, except for the erectile dysfunction and the testosterone. That's just not my sheet. But everything else on there pretty much was stuff I was suffering from, which sounds crazy when I think about it, when I lived with it, and I thought I was healthy, and I wasn't, obviously, now, especially compared to the way I feel now. So, my 4 steps that I took, and I want to share them with you because I think it could help you, even if it's just one step, but it does make a difference. Okay, so, being a type 2 diabetic, I quickly learned that, I was just trying to find okay. Being a type 2 diabetic, I quickly learned that I needed to exercise because I was eating 6 small meals a day and I wasn't burning them. I was storing them because I have a very sedentary job. I work at my desk and I love my job, but I'm not off moving like I should be, right? I have kids who have really active jobs and they're always moving. So whatever they eat, they're burning it off during the day. Not me. I would eat it. I'd sit at my desk. My body might take a little bit of the food and then it would store the rest. So in order to stop that, I have to exercise and a couple things. So exercising is very, very important. Even if you just do a little bit, just move it. Move it or lose it. I'll tell you, move it or lose. Oh, thank you, Angela. Thank you. Move it or lose it. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Is a very important thing. I thought that was a joke, but it's not. If you can do a little bit, walk a little bit. I'm not saying you have to go to the gym. The gym, obviously, I love it, but it doesn't mean you have to do it. Not everybody does. I get lucky. I have a gym literally over the hill from my house, a brand new Planet Fitness. It's been open, less than a year. It's gorgeous. I'm very lucky to have that. Doesn't mean it's the same case for everybody. So that's okay. I bought from Amazon 2 kettlebells. So if I don't get to the gym or, I feel like doing a little bit more, I have these kettlebells. I love them. Only thing that I have to say is that the lady who I saw them from online, she said to get the soft ones because the hard ones, can damage your floors. So I did get the soft ones. So if you're going to get some kettlebells, I guess the way to do is to get the soft ones. Just a little tip. Just want to share that with you. So try to exercise. Take a gallon of water. Do some curls with a gallon of water. Do your stairs if you have stairs. Walk around your yard if you don't want to go for a walk. Think of stuff that you can do to move. You definitely want to try to get your heart rate up. I find, this is funny, I don't know if it's just because of me, but I find my heart rate gets higher when I do weight training than I do if I do my cardio. Maybe because I'm not a runner, I do the treadmill, I love it, and I do higher when I do weight training than I do if I do my cardio. Maybe because I'm not a runner, I do the treadmill, I love it, and I do the elliptical, I love it, but I don't get that same sweat as I do when I'm lifting weights. And it could be because I'm not a runner. I wish I was, but I can walk, for millions of hours. I just don't get that same as I do with the weights. So weight training is such a big deal for me as a reverse. Now that I no longer have diabetes and I don't ever want to go back, I have to burn that muscle. I have to burn the glucose, and my muscle is a great glucose burner. So working out at the gym is such a big thing for me. Again, I'm not saying you have to go to the gym, just any sort of weight training, push-ups of your own, whatever you want to do. This, so I saw it on, I don't know if it was TikTok or Googled it on, I think because I have Peloton. I forget what it was, but there was some exercises you can do on the wall. Like there's just exercises for yourself, push ups, and there was, you held your, you did a squat. Like there's a lot of different ones that you can do. So please, 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 exercise is a big one every single day. You can take a day off from weights. You don't have to do weights every day, but you need to do something. You can't just, it's just not a good idea, because what's going to happen is what you eat is just going to store in your body excuse me, the hiccups, if you're not burning it, right? So that's an important thing. Step number 2. When I told you I was eating 6 small meals a day, I was literally eating all day. I had my breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, da, 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 da. So my poor glucose was like this. My body never got to the stuff that I was storing because I kept giving it more, feeding it, feeding it, feeding it. If you can cut some of those out, right? So I was like, all right, well, I'm storing them all. I need to cut them out. So the way I did that is I started time restricted eating, fasting. That's the only time I can say that word on here because I get in trouble. Time restricted eating, not eating all day, breaking down your wall and eating less, right? Time wise, not less food, just time wise. So I had to change my plate too, which I'll go to that. So instead of 6 small meals a day, I didn't do it all at once. Again, you have to be consistent and be patient because it's not going to be easy. It was definitely a mind set for me because my mind was like, we're used to eating 6 small meals a day. So my stomach would tell my mind, listen, you're starving, you need to eat something. And I wasn't starving. Trust me, I wasn't starving. I was meant to read it down, but you have so many hours of stored glucose in your system. So you're not going to die. I thought I was going to if I didn't eat. I thought I would have, but I didn't. So you need to shrink your window of eating. So no longer 6 small meals. You do a little bit at a time. You could do 12 hours, 13 hours, whatever's good for you, for your lifestyle. Some people work overnight, some people different times. You don't have to do 16 and 8 like I do, but you should definitely give your body a chance to digest what it has, to rebuild your cells, because your cells will regenerate, but they can't if they keep getting bombed with carbs and glucose and things that they can't regenerate. And so what happens if you keep eating and you're eating the wrong things, carbs, that was me. I'm a carb eater. I was a terrible carb eater. Your cells will stop taking the energy. Your cells will just get insulin resistant and they'll stop and they'll close up. And then you don't want that. You want your cells to be fresh and open. You want your insulin to be able to put the energy into your cells so that you don't feel like what you've eaten was a waste. Because if you ever do that, do you ever feel like, I just ate but I'm tired? It's because your cells are insulin resistant. They're closed. They're locked. They're not taking in any food. But it can be fixed. We have trillions of cells that are always regenerating. The sleep is important because that's when they do it. You need to get some good night's sleep. You want to regenerate those cells, get rid of the old ones, the burnt out ones, the ones that I beat up for years, and I'm able to get new cells, healthier cells. And that's when my blood work will look better, right? Looks better, feel better. So exercise, time restricted eating. I eat my 2 meals on my 8 hours. My first meal is at noontime. My second meal, and you should wait 4 hours in between. And my next meal is dinner time, which is, usually it's 5 or 6 hours anyways after, because I have my lunch and then my dinner. And you need to do that 4 hours. Okay, the reason why there's the 4 hours, and I have to get Austin to work, so I got to stop talking. So your body needs to digest what it eats, what you've eaten. If you eat a little bit and then you snack and have something else, your body still hasn't fully digest the first thing. So your body's like, oh, wait, here comes some more. Let's store this. It takes what you've eaten the first time and it stores it in your belly, stores it in bad places, and it stores it and then goes to work on the other one. So if all you do is eat, all your body's going to do is just work on what you're giving it, not what it has stored. So you want to do that switch. You want to eat, let it burn it, let it digest it, let it take what it wants, store what it wants, use what it wants before you give it more. Because if you give it more, it's just going to keep storing it, and that's how we get big. That's what I did. That's what happened to me. Okay, so if anybody wants any more information on that, please let me know. I'm happy to share it with you. It did, like I said, took a little bit of time. So in your mind, you have to be like, oh no, I don't need to eat. I'm not a 2-year-old. I don't need to snack all day long, and I can do this. Okay, so that's important. And step number 3 helped me with step number 1, because I used to eat all day long. To go from all day long to twice a day wasn't that easy. And if somebody tells you it's easy, God love them, but it wasn't for me. Step number 3, I added a chlorogenic acid tea into my diet. The reason why is helps with that food noise. And food noise is a thing. Food noise is when your brain, your body is saying, oh, we need to eat. We're used to eating 6 hours, 6 meals a day. Our brain, oh, good morning, Roland. How are you? So your body your body will think it needs to eat. So that's food noise. When you're thinking about food all the time, when your stomach thinks you're dying because you haven't eaten, and your brain is in panic mode and sending out adrenaline because it thinks that it hasn't eaten, all of these things are food noise. You can squash that. My number 3 is a chlorogenic acid tea that I take faithfully every day. I drink it every single day. It's just a small bottle. It's not a big bottle of it. And I drink that twice a day, but it'll keep it down. Okay, so chlorogenic acid tea. I just want to read you some of the benefits. My big benefit for me is keeping the food noise down. So I'm able to go from, I ate last night. We had dinner at 6:30, and I'm not eating until 12. So me last year, Tina would never have done that. So this is a different thing for me. So with my tea, it helps me do that and give my body a chance to burn what we did eat yesterday. And I did have pizza Saturday, and I was so happy. It was so good. Okay, so chlorogenic acid tea. It's concentrated from my yerba mate plant, supports my mood. I was very depressed, being overweight, unhealthy, very depressed, very withdrawn. I don't have that anymore. I feel very, really good about myself. I feel positive. I have great energy. It supports my mood. It really does. It brings me up. Energy without it gets rid of that, and it gives me energy without the crash, because I'm not crashing. I'm not up and down. I'm not eating carbs and crashing. So I have constant energy all day long. Again, we went and did that walking. I came home, I mowed the lawn, I worked on my garden. Yesterday I worked on my garden. No, yesterday I mowed the lawn. But would never have had that energy before. Before last year, it would have been Saturday mow the lawn, Sunday I would have done done the garden, and that would have been it. I have that energy now. And I'm older. I'm 54 years old. I was 53. So as I'm getting older, I feel better now than I did when I was 40. And I want you to feel that too, or your loved ones to feel that too. It's just so important. Okay. Keep food noise down, like I told you. Increases. Okay, GLP-1. I know we've all seen it on TV. I know we've all seen the ads. You all heard about it. GLP-1. You have your own GLP-1 in your body, or a natural one. It is in your body, not the synthetic one that you put in, right? That people put in. Not saying you do, but people put in. My tea increases my own GLP-1, what I already have, by 60%. And that's what helps with the weight loss, right? It helps with the weight loss, helps with burning what I have stored, helps with the food noise. But you can increase your own GLP-1 naturally. You don't need, and I shouldn't say that. If you want to do the shot, by all means do. Please, 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 if you do want to do a shot, do some research, please, before you do it. You can go to pdr.net, which is prescribersdeskreference.net, and do some research. Please, before you or a loved one gets on that, do some research. That's all I'm going to say. Helps liver function. Like I told you, I had fatty liver, and I'm not a drinker. I mean, I will have a beer or whatever. I will drink, but I don't. I just don't. I had fatty liver, like I was a drinker. it was bad. It no longer is. I was happy with my results, but so this has helped clear my liver and give my liver the chance to get rid of the toxins that it's saving in there. Everything that I was eating, it was clearing it for me and it was storing it. My poor liver, and I feel bad. Shrinks fat cells. I was very overweight. I had a lot of fat cells. It's shrinking my fat cells, which is what the GLP-1 does. Again, I'm not gonna, but this is naturally. It doesn't shrink them, dehydrate them, whatever it does to shrink them to make you think that you're losing weight until you come off of the GLP-1 and you gain weight. I don't want to talk, I know I could go on forever on it because it makes me so nervous. Okay, enhances my muscle mass. And again, a lot of it is from the gym working out, but it helps me when I do work out. I won't have that soreness after, right? Because I drink my tea and I drink the Stronghold, which also does the same thing. Go longer between meals. I could do my fasting. I do the one, I'm sorry, I can't just say that. The one at noontime and the one at dinner time. I don't have that. I give my body the 4 hours because I have this, right? Okay, so antioxidants, chlorogenic acid, nutrients. You can drink it hot or cold. Okay, so that, and it reduces your spikes, your glucose spikes and drops. Anytime you eat, you will get a little bit of a rise. If you eat correctly, if you do fiber, protein, healthy fats, and then carbs, you can you can try to hold that spike down. You don't want to do the spike too often because it takes a long time to come back down, and then your body will shoot up more insulin, and then it's a mess. Then that's everything's going haywire in your body. So if you could try to keep it even, and my tea helps me do that, that's the big thing. Okay, so that is my number 3. I added the tea in my diet, and I will never go back. I love it, love it, love it. And it's just, part of it also keeps me on routine. Like I told you, I like routine. So it keeps me on routine because when I'm done with it, after I've drank it, it's 24, I think it's the 17 ounces. Once I'm done with it, I know it's going to be lunchtime. And then I love it. It's just part of my routine. Okay, number 4, fiber. We are so stripped of fiber. Our food is stripped of fiber because fiber keeps you satiated longer, keeps you full longer, and it helps you digest. So one way, which is brilliant marketing, which is brilliant on their end to get you to eat more, is that to get your food not to, which is brilliant marketing, which is brilliant on their end to get you to eat more, is that to get your food not to make you feel that way, right? So they take the fiber out. Obviously, it probably tastes better without fiber, and they add in sugar, which this little sugar guy is so mean. Do you know there's 262 different names for sugar? What? So you think, you read a label, and I'm in school to be a nutritionist, we're learning to read labels. So you read a label, you think, oh, this isn't too bad. Some of those things in there are sugar. Another word for sugar. 262 different names for sugar, which I thought that was crazy. But here we are, modern diet. The modern diet is a disaster. Unfortunately, the modern food is you have to really, really, really want it. You really have to be smart about what you eat, unfortunately. And they say type 2 diabetes is hereditary. It's not hereditary. The environment is hereditary. So if your environment's bad, if what you eat is bad and you feed your children bad, that's how that happens. That's the only way it can be hereditary, because it's not a gene that's passed on from parent to parent. Type 2 is not a gene that's passed on. Type 1 is a different story. But so it's definitely a learned, it's environmental, it's what we eat, it's how we feed ourselves is how you get the type 2. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is number 4, is my balance, which is my fiber. So I added fiber back to my diet. My gut biomes are in great check now. I had leaky gut. If anybody's ever heard of it, it's horrible. Leaky gut is a terrible thing. Everything I ate, my stomach was digesting it. Instead of pushing the bad stuff out the door, it would just leak into my system. So I had leaky gut. I don't any longer because I got the microbiomes under control. And my step number 4, the fiber that I bring back into my diet, is 100% a game changer for me. I will never not have it. As a woman, I'm supposed to have 25 grams of fiber a day. As a man, you're supposed to have 36 or 37 grams of fiber a day. That doesn't sound like a lot. until you break it down to see how much fiber is in things. I'm in school for nutritionists, so I have a great list of fiber foods that you can get. If you would like them, you can DM me. I can send them to you. It's just a quick little list of how much fiber is in certain foods that you can get to increase your fiber daily. If that's something you'd like, let me know. I'd be glad to share it with you. Okay, my fiber that I take it with both my meals. Some people take it with one. I take it with, thank you for the follow. I take it with both my meals because I need to get that 25 grams in a day. And also it fills me up, right? So my fiber, the fiber that I drink, it's just a little 8 ounces. I drink it before I eat. It will do a couple things for me. It gets into my stomach and it gels my stomach and it helps coat my stomach to avoid that leaky gut and to keep the food in the stomach until my body decides what it wants to do with it. It slows my digestion, and when it gels, it satiates me. It makes because your brain and your stomach are connected. Your stomach will tell your brain, oh, listen, we're pretty good. We're almost full. You don't need to send down too much. So I don't overeat any longer because I listen to my brain, which is important to do. Mindful eating, I think, is important to do. If you're having longer, because I listen to my brain, which is important to do. Mindful eating, I think, is important to do. If you're on your phone, you may overeat. If you're watching TV, you may overeat. You try to think about, have I had enough? That's the one thing that I didn't do. I would just eat my whole plate because that's how I was raised, to eat everything on your plate. So how I trick myself at that is I have a smaller plate. So if I put everything on my plate, it's a small plate. I eat on my plate, eat everything on my plate, so I think that I'm fine. That's just a little trick that I do, and it helps very, very much. Okay, so it's a blend of fibers. And this is all food. These are all natural, right? So, and enhances your insulin sensitivity, which was my problem. My insulin resistance and my insulin was a mess. So now it helps that. It keeps it at bay, I guess you could say. Healthy digestion and gut health. My gut health was bad, and if your gut health is bad, so many things can happen with it. And I have a nice. I went through it the other day, and I'll be glad to talk about it again. Gut health and what happens, all of the side effects of having a leaky gut, which is pretty scary. All right, and so let me see, reduces IBS. It actually got rid of my IBS. I had IBS so bad that it got rid of my IBS, and I'm grateful for that. Again, I could go do things. Yesterday, I would never have gone to the beach with that because there isn't a bathroom there. And the same thing with going to Federal Hill on Saturday because I didn't have to worry about it because I wasn't going to have that problem. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to tell you. Those are my 4 steps. We want to get your symptoms under control. Your non-negotiables, we're going to work on sleeping, getting a good night's sleep, and we're going to hydrate. We want to make sure we hydrate because we don't want anybody to dehydrate. It's hot out. It's summertime. It happens, so hydrate. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to talk about today. If anybody has any questions or wants any information about anything I talked about, I am happy to share. I did pin my phone number in here. I did pin my phone number in there. If somebody wants to get a hold of me, please do. Or DM me. Go back into my bio. You can get a hold of me. I have a website in there, just some information that I built. It's under construction, so please be kind. I'm working on the website. It's my first one. Like I built it myself just to give some information. But that's it. So happy Monday, everybody. I hope you have a great plan today. Enjoy the sunshine. Go for a walk if you can. That's it. But I have to get my son to work, so I better get going. But I do love you guys. And I know there's a lot of people on live today, doing lives, and I appreciate you stopping by and spending time with me. It really means a lot. I really want to help everybody that I can. Guys, have a good day. Thank you for the likes. I really appreciate it. And anybody that followed me, I'm going to follow you back right now. But thank you so much, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I'll be back tomorrow.